Well, that was toothless, is best I can say. I'm here to talk about the game that finished around about an hour ago. It ended Barrow 3, Grimsby Town nil, and it's the third straight time we've gone away from home and conceded 3. Um, and it was, well, it was woeful, wasn't it, really? Absolutely woeful. Um, Sorry to be quiet, but I just kind of didn't know what to say just then because I was in shock at the ineptness of the team today. If we go through what the starting lineup was, Jordan Wright, Lewis Cass, Harvey Rogers, Cameron McJanet and Denver Hume, George McEachran, Evan Corey, Jaden Looker, Kieran Green, Yasin Van Dorsen and Justin Abikwu. They started up front, just inside up front. A bench of Callum Ainley, Seb Orton, Matty Carson, Danny Rose, Doug Darm, Curtis Thompson, Charles Vernon. That was the town team that started the game, and we had a good first 10, 15 minutes. When I say good, I'm going to say average. I think I'm trying to be a bit over positive. When I said sort of average, we did put a little bit of pressure on Paul Farman, their goalkeeper, early on. We had most of the play, or most of the ball in the first half, which was shown to be with no real cutting edge, I wouldn't say, even though we looked marginally threatening at times. But we never really looked like scoring. More so as soon as we sort of conceded the first, it was kind of like an even game. Town probably having the better of it, like I said, the first half an hour. But then Gotts got the first goal, and it was a bit of good play, a bit of luck as well, and a good finish by the lad to put Barrow 1 up just before the break. Town had a little spell prior to their opening goal, and then kind of came as like a sucker punch, but a nice little bit of play by Barrow in their just outside our 18-yard box, and the goal was scored, and that was pretty much it. And what I mean by that is that was pretty much it. You kind of felt as though it was going to go downhill from there. We then went into half time 1-0 down, and very nearly conceded another one, and probably should have conceded another one. Obviously, we gave a penalty away in the second half, and luckily though, Jordan Wright did make a good save to that, a good hand going to his left to stop a second goal, but then Smith got the second goal, which pretty much killed the game, really. The game was done. I actually said to my friend on after 56 minutes, I said, it's done. We're not going to get back in this. And, if I'm completely honest, if the first half was at worst okay, the second half was where I talk about the inept part. And having the saviour of the penalty miss as well. You're thinking, well, maybe, but soon as we got the second goal, I just knew. I just knew Town weren't going to come back from it. And we didn't look like we were going to score. Although right near the end we did when the game was done. Artel did make changes, but he made them very, very late. He did bring on Curtis Thompson on the hour, and Burnham and Rose. Like I said, after we fell 2-0 down. Because he felt like he had to. I thought nobody in the team really played well today. That is probably the worst performance in a shirt for Yasin Van Thorsen so far. Justin Abiku didn't really do anything. I think the two people, if I was to say anything, well, maybe just about three, if I was to give anybody any sort of praise, really, I would say Jordan Wright and possibly Jaden Looker, but there was no one else really in there that I would say comes off with any real praise. I think it was absolutely well, I usually use them as potless, you know. Barrow weren't fantastic. I just want to emphasise that point. That they weren't fantastic, but they stayed in a low shape and a low block where Town had nothing. We couldn't break them down with it, and they kept on doing the same thing, even in the second half, even just before they got the third. You know, we didn't concede, but we probably could have conceded at least three more. I think we were lucky it was only three, because it very well easily could have been six. Some of the amount of times Yasin got the ball nicked off his foot today was shocking. It was absolutely appalling, and the amount of times we did lose the ball in the wide areas, and then we just had no answer for anything. And obviously, so Vassell wrapped it up on 85 minutes. Where in the world our defending was, I've no idea. I think we lost how to defend, because it was again too easy from a corner, that third one, and you know, you're thinking just too easy, you know. It's a bit funny because everyone says, you know, we've been about even on home and away, but it's another game where we've conceded 3 goals, and you know, it's just like, you kind of know that if Town go in front, we seem to get a fight and a determination to get something, or we get something more often than not. But you always feel with Grimsby that once they go behind, they're done. You just feel that. What I will give some praise to, which was the other player I was going to give praise to, when he came on, was Charles Burnham. He did try and make something happen, and he did. He was probably the best player. I think he was probably man of the match. I'd probably give him man of the match, to be honest. Denver Hume obviously went off injured, as well. So hopefully it's not too bad for Denver. But Denver was not having a good game anyway. Throughout the game, he wasn't having a good game, and it was just it's probably one of the worst performances. I've seen a couple of people say it was probably the worst performance. I would say when you can only probably pick out 2 players that deserve any sort of plaudit, 2 of the, you know, and that's being kind, because this was woeful. And you know, losing 3-0 to Barrow, it happens, but you know, this isn't Barrow pulling up any trees. This is Barrow that have just hired Andy Wing, so that they They had, I think they'd lost 5 straight before this at home, at least, and we've stepped up and we haven't decided to flip flop, have we? And gone, we'll pick our home form up and then our away form will start to diminish. Because that at the minute is what's happened. You know, we've gone to Bradford and fell to pieces. Although to be fair, that the difference between this result against Barrow and that result against Bradford were good. Barrow weren't great, and they just looked like they were going to coast. You know, we had a couple of chances in the second half. Well, I say chances, sort of after the third goal, really. It was just. I always said there's a chance that we could have scored, but there's no way in the world we were going to get back in the game when we conceded the second. And it was well, we took a shot, and from from just outside the box, and it fell in the box and hit Danny Rose on the back of the head rather than going in. It hit Rosie on the back of the head, which then meant it stayed out, and it was just well. I hate to use that, but it was trash. It was absolutely trash. It was when you are struggling to defend, which is what we are struggling to do. You know, we're ninth, but we're fortunate to be ninth, and we are. And when you are struggling to defend, it is about making sure you do that first before worrying about going gung ho, trying to. I'm sure Artel will say he's trying to win the game. Yeah, but we're out the game by the hour. We were all but out the game because we delivered nothing. It's okay doing it 10 minutes before the end when there was, or 20 minutes before the end when there's nothing on it. We knew the minute Smith's goal went in, it was done. And any Town fan that's watched them this season know that once we go behind, we cannot come back. And it's because we just don't have it, and it's hard to sum it up any better than atrocious, absolutely atrocious. Yes, we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine, but I think if anyone honestly thought playoffs were a possibility, yeah, I think you need to rethink that. That definitely isn't a possibility. And I said Town could definitely make top 10. Yeah, if we kept the sort of form up that we had in the first half of the season. And I don't think we've won, have we, since... well, no, we haven't. Since since Port Vale. So we haven't won in this last month. We've got a chance to do that Tuesday to finish the month on a high against Gillingham. But we've actually lost every game bar one so far, and I think that's my worry with Grimsby at the minute. When we are losing, we're losing well. We're not narrowly losing. We're not, we're convincingly being beaten. And by Barrow, to be fair, if you look at the overall stats, they had 27.7% of the ball, so basically 28% of the ball. But that just shows where we had possession of the ball, save areas. They had their game plan. They played a low block. They made it. We couldn't break them down, and whenever you get someone that is well organised, we seem to struggle. Obviously, we've got another 10 days or so of the transfer window. Heard that we might be close to somebody. I know that Matt Dean did do an interview with an Irish journalist. We might be close to somebody. I'm not expecting until that deal is done. I think it's pretty close to being done and announced. That may happen Monday. Obviously, when it does, I'll bring that news to you when it does actually officially get announced. But boy, do we need. I think we might need more than we think. We need defenders. We need to. We need to be able to defend, and otherwise you make it impossible for any forward that you've got on there. If you're leaking 3 goals a game, your forwards will have to score 4, and we're going to be probably one of, well, we are. I think we'll concede up to about 80 goals this season. Honestly, the way we leak goals this year, I think that's what we'll do. I can't say any more because we didn't give much more. Very, very disappointing result against Barrow, but well done to them. Well done, though, to the fans that did go. Where the announcement was right, I don't know. Apparently, we sold out the allocation, and then only apparently heard over Humberside commentary that we was only about 250. Anybody that was there, can you tell me how many you think were actually there in a crowd of 3,661 at Barrow to see the Mariners get duped? And another defeat away from home. We need to improve. No concern about anything in a regard, but you cannot perform like that. The last couple of away performances have not been good enough that, and Artel said in his pre-match that he'd given them a few days off. Well, if that was Grimsby having a few days off, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it for the rest of the season, David, because that was absolutely shambolic. And if that is what the players decide to give when you have a few days off, you don't deserve days off. You know what I mean? It's you're thinking, okay, they've had a few days off, they've been on holiday, they've gone and seen the families, which they all deserve, by the way. I want to just state that. But you come back, you're thinking, oh yeah, they're going to be all refreshed. Oh great, Barrow are struggling. They've only just brought in Andy Wing, and you're thinking, here we go. We've had a couple of bad results away. With Accrington and Bradford, and you're thinking, here we go. Here's a chance for us to just stem the tide, and we were worse than we were in the last away game. And we concede 3 again. So, when you're talking about giving your sub man of the match in Charles Vernon, it could only either have been Chaz or Jordan, really. And that's only because of Jordan's penalty save. You couldn't really give it to anyone else but them. It's just, I can't say anymore. Let me know down below what you guys think of this result. I'm not concerned. I'm just disappointed. And I'm just disappointed at how easy we've gone from being very solid away from home at the start of the season to being defensively inept. And we proved that against, it should have been 4-5. We were lucky that it was only 3. Well, actually, to be honest with you, it could have been 7. To be completely honest, I'm not exaggerating. And just let me know what you think down below. Surely, Mariners fans can't be happy with that level of performance. But let me know down below what you think. I will do a preview for the Gillingham game, which is coming up on Tuesday. Oh boy, hopefully we can give some kind of performance, because hopefully we'll have some news on a couple of players, because boy do we need them. But like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff, and I've come back to now doing full time reviews. I don't want many more of these, that's for sure. Barrow 3, Grimsby 0. Grimsby not good enough. I will see you guys for the preview for Gillingham very, very soon. But in the meantime, guys, let me know what you thought down below, and I'll see you soon. Like I said, like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you soon. In the meantime, let's go and lick our wounds, shall we?